And welcome to an icon new video, and today we are going to be talking about when Undertale takes place, because it's not as simple as you may think. Firstly, please help me. Now, we should probably put all of the major events of Undertale on the goddamn timeline. So let's go ahead and make ourselves the greatest line that has ever been drawn over a whiteboard in the entire history of white lines on a whiteboard. That's a black line, shit. So all of Undertale start when Undertale born. War! I failed to type war, that's crazy. Why do I always say type, by the way? Every time. It's like right. I'm stupid. The monster-human war, to be exact. Which then subsequently ends. Now, we don't know how long the monster-human war was. However, they, at some point, stopped and were trapped inside of Mount Abbott. Now, here comes the first question mark about, like, how long? Because, you see, there's a little bit of a problem here. Unlike Undertale Yellow, I think the line that Toriel says that you're the first human that fell down here in a long time isn't just something she says to random child every year. I think it's something that we can actually use. So, Frisk falls down here, and it was a long time before that point that the last human fell. So, probably right after they were trapped, or at least soon after they were trapped. Why do I think that it's soon after they were trapped? Well, that is because not only is Chara the first human to ever fall, but also Asriel was just a little boy back then, and also when Chara fell, the capital was still in the ruins. And while Chara was in the underground, the capital was moved to New Home. Which, by the way, is just a little bit confusing, because New Home is literally at the barrier when, you know, the ruins, where the capital used to be, is, like, the furthest away. But never mind. They moved the capital to New Home while Chara was with them. Now, the reason I believe that to be the case is because of the whole poisoning planet and going through the barrier thing. Will be a lot easier if your capital is literally right next to the barrier than, you know, having to walk across the entire goddamn underground while carrying a dead body. Or soul, I guess. So yeah, we first got the Chara, we then get New Home, and then immediately afterwards, the plan. Which, by the way, I just want to mention, dumbest plan of all time. Not gonna explain it. It's just a stupid-ass plan. Plan, of course, leads to Asriel's death and Chara's death, and leads to Asgore declaring war on humanity again. Then, I don't think Toriel immediately left. Because the reason she left was because after taking a single soul, Asgore didn't immediately storm out of the goddamn barrier. So what I think happened before that, human falls, Asgore absolutely annihilates that human, and Toriel immediately leaves after she realizes that Asgore is not going through the barrier to get 6 more. And then I propose that every single human fell in a short period of time to one another. And I also propose that the time from the war, you know, being over to the time Frisk arrives cannot be over 250 years. And that is because of Gerson. Gerson is a veteran of the human-monster war. And Gerson is supposed to be a tortoise, and tortoise, the oldest ever, is 250 years old. So, presuming that Gerson was 18 by the time of the war, that would make this whole timeline less than 250 years. Where I believe a majority of it takes place in, like, the span of 200. Wait, no, I'm stupid. I just realized something. I think that a lot of time actually passed here. I may have had a stupid. However, I think like 100 years passed here. Because see, Chara falls down in the year 20XX. And looking at the depiction of the humans in the monster-human war, that looked pretty medieval. So even though it would be like 500 years in between that, Gerson is the one thing I cannot understand. Because Gerson is an outlier. Frankly, we have absolutely no idea how long Gerson is supposed to be alive. But you know, a tortoise. It makes literally no sense for them to be trapped and immediately Chara falls down. But it makes also no sense for there to be a pretty big gap between the two. Even though that's what the time, like, that's what it suggests. I don't know. Maybe we live in an alternate universe where the year 2000 is actually 400 years behind. That's the theory I'm going with. Or alternatively, I don't know, Gerson is just very old. I don't know. Like, this could be 400, and it would probably be correct. Toriel and Asgore really waited on having a child, like damn. Nevertheless, literally everyone falls, and then gets absolutely annihilated, at which point Gast is already gone, we got Alphys. We got the determination experiments. See, for the determination experiments, we need at least a few dead humans. And I thought, why not get literally everyone beforehand? Determination experiments obviously being if a monster is fallen down, it's unlucky. However, what if we put determination in there? Oh no, it's melting. I'm gonna change this one to 125. And again, Flowey is made here. Now, I headcanon the determination experiments to take a few years because I don't think immediately upon like starting the research, the literal same year, Alphys just took a bunch of determination from one place and put it into a goddamn another. I don't think Alphys is that stupid. However, I think Alphys was desperate after years of trying this. So the newest batch of amalgamates, the one that we see in the game, they are fresh. I would say this is about when the amalgamates and Flowey are created. But this is where the idea was first introduced and where the research first began. And of course, in this time period, literally everything is game. See, we already know that Sans and Papyrus are in this time period. So, they arrived somewhere here. We know that Sans and Papyrus are in this time period because Flowey is actively killing Papyrus and getting absolutely owned by Sans. And Flowey talks as if they've always been, you know, a nuisance to them. So, I feel like maybe, actually, that one theory of Sans and Papyrus being a response to Flowey is correct. Probably not. But if it is true, then, you know, that would make sense. But again, there is literally no way in hell that this game, it doesn't take place in the future. Because Chara falls in 20XX and at least some time passes because they literally move home. And then Chara basically kills himself. And then there's gotta be time for 6 other humans to fall? And then Frisk. Like, it takes a while. That implies that the others didn't take a while. You know, that one dialogue that Toriel has at the beginning of the game has so many goddamn implications. It implies that it has been a while, so 25 years, sure, makes sense. And that also implies that normally it doesn't take this long, so maybe these are the humans. But then why did it take so long here? Because it had to take at least that long. The technology just doesn't make any goddamn sense. Also, humans know magic. That's how they got them into the underground, and the books in the library say that humans don't know magic. Are they stupid? Did 2 monsters just betray them? I'm looking at this very thoroughly and it does not make any goddamn sense. Especially Gersten. How old are you? See, that's why Deltarune killed your ass. You know what? Maybe you can't die of old age if you're in a goddamn... Yeah, maybe you can't die of old age if you're in a shop, just like you can't be attacked. Maybe this entire top part of the goddamn timeline is entirely irrelevant because Gersten can live for way longer than I think he can. Or maybe it's entirely irrelevant because you can't die of old age in a shop and he just refuses to leave. It's either or, really. Or maybe it's entirely valid and it's only 200 years. But like, how do 10 people fall down that consistently and also inconsistently and also inconsistently again? See, it had to have at least been some time though, because Undyne is the head of the Royal Guard. And Undyne says that she has never seen a human. So Undyne could only have become the head of the Royal Guard after humans stopped falling. Because if there was a human, the head of the Royal Guard would most certainly be put on that human. Undertale Yellow has the theory of she just doesn't show up, Lamau, but I don't think that is a good thing because, you know, that's stupid. It's almost certain that the Royal Guard has more members than we see inside of Undertale. Because, you know, it's the only military force that the goddamn monster kind has. You probably have more than like 10 people. But one person you almost certainly always would have to fight is the head of the Royal Guard. Undyne would have probably seen the human if it fell down. So all humans fell down before Undyne became head of the Royal Guard. Presumably also before Undyne started working with Asgore, like they trained. That's presumably before that. Cause like I kinda feel like the depression that we find Asgore in is also because of Undyne's training. Cause like he was actively teaching a kid how to fight. And he has been killing kids so much, and that probably didn't help. Like, he actively styled on them all. And then Frisk styled on him. The only reason that happened is because he was all depressed, and I feel like he's depressed because of Undyne's training, because, you know, he actually taught a kid, he saw a kid grow up, like, not his own son, and God, that sounded horrible. And he's been killing a lot of children and it's over for him. But side note, this plan really fucking sucks. You know, I never really thought about the fact that Flowey and Frisk are just like so close together in the grand scheme of things, because like Alphys is alive and probably not 40 years old. So I would say like Flowey as an entity is like 10 years old at most. And like Flowey is like hundreds of years after this whole plan failed. Like imagine just chilling in the afterlife and your spirit gets sucked down into a flower, but without the whole soul business, so you're just a damn flower now. And then you absorb the entire underground and then you suddenly realize, I'm a fucking bitch. And so you release the entire underground and suddenly you got no soul again and now fuck, I'm gonna be a bitch again. It's gotta be like the worst thing to happen to this 10-year-old child. Like, he died, sure, but like, imagine undying and then having to die again, basically. Sure, he can stay a flower, but this bro doesn't want to be a flower. Fuck you, Alphys. Honestly, half the fucking problems here that are in this general area of the timeline are just Alphys. Why do you hate Alphys? Why should Alphys be locked up in jail for the rest of her goddamn existence? I wonder. Anyway, that is the Undertale timeline, I guess. Mostly because I genuinely have no idea how to do any of it. Sure, we know, like, in what order things happened, except determination like that, that's probably wrong, but like... Maybe Sans and Papyrus showed up at the same time the Amalgamates did, I don't know. The Amalgamates seem to be like a new kind of thing because like the families are still alive. So subsequently Flowey must also be a new thing. And we still gotta keep this distance in there because it's been a while since someone fell down. And that's it. In 2 days I'm gonna upload a serious video. Anyways, my fit goes absolutely goddamn hot. Cue the clown.